That's kind of low. It's going now.
It's going?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. I don't know what to do. I had to do it like 6 times.
Yeah, well, it truthfully was. I can above there, right below what I really love. And they got they were like, I
All right. Can everyone hear me okay? Does that sound good? All right. I want to go ahead and get this evening started. And for those of you, I would assume most of you know who I am, but athletic director here. My name is Christian Lowry. I want to welcome you guys to the 2023-2024 ACS Athletic Awards Banquet. It's really been such an amazing year, and one of my favorite parts, just getting introduced to it last year in this position, but also remembering back from my time as an athlete, is this banquet, is this chance to gather and reflect and honor our deserving athletes. So I hope you're excited. We will begin tonight with dinner. So we have a few people who volunteered to help back there. They will be serving. Just to keep portions in control. But I will release, I'll pray, and then actually Greg Mass will go around and release your table. So we just ask that you stay seated at your table until Greg releases you. So before you do so, go ahead and join me in a word of prayer, and we'll get tonight started. Father God, thank you so much for who you are. God, I just ask that your presence would be here tonight as we have fun, as we fellowship, as we honor these athletes. God, I pray that it would be for your glory and not our own. Tonight, I ask that you would bless this meal we're about to eat. God, that you would just allow this to be an evening that brings you glory. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you all.
I think they got
If anybody would like seconds, we do have enough back there, so feel free to just up on your own, go and get seconds if you would like.
did.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the second half of our evening and go ahead and honor our athletes. The first thing that we always do is we want to honor our seniors. So I will call our seniors up. I just ask that seniors, you would come up here on stage. And I want to go ahead and just pray over you as you head out. Here graduating. Some of you have already graduated. We have commencement this weekend as well. And you guys are on to bigger things, and we just want to pray over you as you leave. So seniors, first being Samuel Goff. Our second senior, I'm not sure if he was able to join us tonight or not, but Katie Merritt. Go ahead and give him a round of applause. Our next senior, Lydia Ranson. Josiah Rutledge. Joshua Skoronsky. And our last senior, I'm not sure if she was able to join us or not either, but Alicia Zabka. Go ahead and give her a round of applause. Stay up on the stage after I pray. I do have a gift for you guys. But go ahead. You guys just join me in praying over them. I'm going to go ahead. Father God, we just come before you and just prioritize just the growth, the growing spiritually. We want this program, we want this entire community to prioritize that, God. And we have been so blessed with this group of seniors, the way that they lead on the court and on the field, but also in their studies, most importantly, in just pursuing you, God. We're so grateful for them, and we just ask for your hand of protection and guidance over them as they step into what's ahead, God. We thank you for them. We thank you for their families who have been there for them, God. And we just pray that you would bless them in many, many ways. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, can we give him a round of applause? Next, we'd like to recognize our ECIC All-Conference and Academic All-Conference honorees. So, first up, and I did want to say something real quick. For the conference that we're a part of, the East Central Illinois Conference, one of the things is there has to be a certain amount of sports that all of the schools have for it to be an official season, to have that sport during the school year. And so some of the sports that we offer don't qualify as being a conference sport. So we definitely, in the sports of boys soccer, girls soccer, baseball, and softball, we definitely have individual athletes that are deserving of being all conference. We just aren't officially a part of a conference in those sports. So if you notice, we will be honoring volleyball, boys basketball, and girls basketball as all conference members. So first for volleyball, in ECIC first team, we have Selah Wheeler. She was not able to be with us tonight, but also on first team, ECIC first team, Phoenix Kelmel. Please head up here along stage and we'll give your medal. Also for volleyball and ECIC first team all conference, Addie Irwin. For boys basketball, first up, ECIC Honorable Mention All Conference, Joshua Skoronsky. Also for boys basketball, ECIC First Team Selection, James Lee. Also a first team selection for boys basketball, Brock Helmuth. And a unanimous selection voted on by all head coaches in the conference, first team selection for boys basketball, Kyson Flume. For girls basketball, first team ECIC All-Conference, Sophie Max. Also first team, Annabelle Haskins. And the last ECIC All-Conference first team member, Addie Irwin. Can we give a round of applause to our all-conference honorees? In addition to being honorable mention for basketball, a member of the all-academic team was Joshua Skoronsky. And the other member of the all-academic team is Josiah Rutledge. Congratulations. You guys are free to head down. All right, thankfully you guys do not have to listen to me talk all night. I'm going to have our head coaches come up here and honor their own teams. And I would ask that an assistant coach from each program would also head up just to help hand out awards. So first, leading us off is our volleyball program. So if you please give a warm welcome to Cheryl Gingrich.
Well, I always want you to hold closer, is that too much? I had to really think about this one because I always feel like as the older I get, it gets harder and harder to remember when the season we're at the beginning, and now we're at this point, it's hard to remember all the details. And you think I would learn and write it down. We've done good in the past, but we failed again this last year. But when I went to just kind of pray about it and ask, what was something that really highlighted to me? You know, I know there was a lot of things that were highlighted last year, but where God really brought me back pretty quickly was when I was out walking one summer morning, right before the season. I had personally been going through just a lot of stuff, just with family and just health and different things, but it was kind of a mentally taxing time in my life. I had a lot going on. And so it felt like a little bit overwhelming, but as I was praying through it, and even honestly, I was praying through even, you know, should I continue coaching? Should I step back from that? Should that be one thing I should take my hand out of? And I didn't feel the peace at this time. I didn't feel the release from God that it was time for me to step back. But in that moment, I did feel just like God breathed life on, like I needed to simplify and refresh the program, I guess, like how what we were represented, but also just to, the key word was simplify. To be more intentional on and off the court with that connection time with our girls. And I know I needed it, and during that season of my life, I needed to just simplify everything, to kind of take the mental taxing part out of it, but I did feel like the simplification was when it came to drills, pulling out drills, adding new drills, different skill sets we added. I knew that for me as a coach, I felt like I was kind of getting stagnant, and I was kind of bored with where I was at, and I was kind of needing just to refresh. And I feel like that was really God breathing life into that word, refreshing the season for us. As we started the season, we did anticipate that could be kind of a rebuilding year for us, as we had a lot of returning players. We had no seniors. We had a lot of girls that played together, but not collectively on the court, doing a lot of minutes at the same time. And overall, I felt like our team was pretty young. I mean, we had juniors, but it was kind of like a mix, you know, all the way around of who we had returning. It was pretty evident pretty quick. We did notice, I know that Jamie had this up, and I'll speak of that a little bit later, but she was many times saying, Cheryl, you're not going to leave these roles. At the camps and different things, just a difference from last year to this year, and just her growth. And going into the season, it was really evident really quick of how much they put in time. Some of the girls came back and were just a completely different player. And you could tell they were really investing their time and putting forth the effort, as what we always ask, like in off season. You can only give so much during, but off season is where you really kill it and go after it. So yeah, we had anticipated that it was going to be a rebuilding year. Lost my spot, sorry. But they did. They surprised us with where they were and the growth that they've had in such a short time. We felt like the word I kept getting too was this team had a lot of grit. They showed a lot of resilience and determination. We didn't always look very pretty starting off, and honestly, when you compared us to other teams sometimes last year, we were not the bigger team, we were the smaller team. And even in warm-ups, and I would say, don't base your playing off your warm-up, because our warm-ups can look pretty at times, and the girls are like, oh, that was such a bad warm-up. Sometimes you have the best game, and you have the worst warm-up. So I said, don't base it off of that. But there was a lot of times I felt like, starting off with this team, we changed a lot in the beginning, and we tried to revamp things and tried new things, and we came back to, not square one, but it felt like we kind of brought it all back to where we could start off. And I did feel like the girls had maybe a sigh of relief, and we could stop shaking things up after 2 weeks. I did feel like in the beginning too that these girls got overlooked by other teams because of what we had, the baseline of where we came from, and knowing, people were saying, you guys are losing your senior girls, you're losing some of your seniors, what's it going to be like next year? And I'm like, I don't know, we'll start from ground one, we'll start back up again, we'll rebuild. And I felt like because they were overlooked, we were kind of the underdog, and even as a player and even as a coach, I love the thrill of that. I love the strategic side of it, of just being the underdog sometimes. I find it fun to take those teams down. I'd say about midway when you started seeing where they started having more of the displaying to us just that grit and the ability to, stand with those tough teams that these other people thought we couldn't do. We couldn't hang with them this past season. Oh goodness, just displaying what they're capable of. Out of the coaches, beginning and even to the middle, they're like, man, we thought this was going to be your rebuilding year, coach. Where'd this team come from? And it was good to hear. It just showed the growth of these girls. They might be young, but listen, they could hold their own with these big teams, and they were doing that. We overall had a very successful season. I feel like success looks so different in so many ways, but the depth and what this team displayed, I felt like really showed us what they can do this year, but also leading into the coming years, going into next year. We ended the season well. We went into postseason playing really tough. We had a 3-way tie for first place in our conference with Cornerstone and Judah. We ended up being the lower of because head-to-head different things of the first place. So we didn't end maybe how we wanted to, but I could not have been, and we commented numerous times, even writing this, and just brought back all the fun of how proud we were of each one of these girls and what they represented this last season, how they came out. And I might add, this is probably the least drama we've had, I think, out of all the seasons so far. Maybe not so far, but it was a pretty uneventful but fun season. So just wrapping this up, I just felt like, going back to what I mentioned in the beginning, I feel like the reason we did have a lot of the success, even with the just different variations in players, was because we took the time. There's many times we were practicing, we should have been on the court, but we were taking time because we felt like we needed to listen to God in that moment, the Holy Spirit, and say, hey, let's take so much time praying. Those girls are really struggling this week, or journaling, or it was worshiping, to music. Whatever it was, I felt like we took time there, and you don't realize how much you're just pursuing that. Obviously, we come from a Christian school, but pursuing that more than sometimes in the moment. We could have spent 5 minutes praying or worshiping or being on the court. But I did feel like that's what brewed our success this last year, is being intentional there is what brought this team together and closer throughout the year. I want to thank our parents. I know we say that, but we really don't take it for granted. I know it's just thank you for letting us invest in the girls. It's a privilege for us to do that. We don't take that lightly. Our fans, for supporting us. Coming out, those home games are fun when you guys fill the stands and are cheering us on, and we have a great home crowd. We also have a good traveling crowd. We have a lot of good parents that follow us. It's awesome. My coaches, Lavina, Maggie, she's not here tonight. Terry's sitting back there. Caitlin couldn't be here, and Jamie. I do want to say an extra thank you to Jamie. I think it's deserving of that. She, in this time I was speaking of, she stepped up. She was having a baby, so she was not able to help out more. But it was a trying time. And Jamie basically was like, whatever you need, I'll do it. If you need me to do camps, if you need me to help out extra, whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. And I am forever grateful for that. So thank you, Jamie. All right, we'll move on to the awards. Okay, this first one, Most Valuable Reserve. As I would describe this player, She brought a different, I guess, presence to the court. I thought in the beginning it was just because we were playing bad. But every time I took her off in different times, I noticed she just brought like a kind of a motherly feel to the court and a peace. And so when I went back, she was probably the first person, and honestly, all these awards, there were probably 2 and 3 I wrote down at a time, and I'd pray over them, but honestly, this one was, to me, pretty easy. Our most valuable reserve this past year, I know she's not here tonight, but goes to Elena Gimler. The most improved, this one, it was pretty easy for me as well. I saw a dramatic difference in this player. She had a lot of talent the year before. She had the capacity to do some really cool stuff, incredible things. But this last year, I felt that the transition was, yes, her skill set improved, but her confidence improved. And I felt like I could really rely on her when I knew I needed to go to that position. She could take care of it. Most improved goes to Phoenix Kimmel. Our best offensive player, this one was tough because I felt like our team was very well-rounded this year and had a lot of offensive. Sometimes you'll have a standout offensive and you just know it's kind of a shoe-in, but we had it, you never knew, one girl would produce or 2 girls would produce that night, and the next night they were not producing, but the next 2 girls were. But it really balanced it out. It really showed across the board, just numbers-wise. But I did actually have a feeling I knew who was going to, but I had to go back to my numbers and stats. Coming in second was actually Phoenix at 160. Third was Briley Mouse at 146. But Sailor Wheeler had a big jump, and she won this one out this year at 258. So she's our best offensive player. Best defensive player. This one is one of those that has a lot of grit, a lot of determination. She's extremely hard on herself, but she doesn't stop. She many times produced got so many balls up that were nearly impossible. And she's tiny, but she's mighty. And that goes to Sherry Miller. Next one is, oh, there it is. I was like, where's that? Is the Hustle Award. This can also be kind of a shoe-in sometimes for a particular position, not always, but in this case it is. When I think about the story, when we were trying to revamp things and change things up, and just trying people that were in a position, put them in a different position just to see, it felt like a rocking boat for quite a while. It just didn't feel for 2 weeks, we could not get that feeling of slowing the boat down and rocking. Until we kind of switched things back. And honestly, it was a key factor in that with the hustle. We were able to, this player was able to get plays up and balls where they needed to go. And again, the boat stopped shaking. The hustle award goes to Addie Newman. I'm gonna have her go up and go ahead and stay up here too. The MVP award, going back and like I said, it was a tough year to pick this year, but these girls are all very deserving of these awards this year, of who we selected. Most valuable player, I feel like we could not have had the success we had this past season. I think we could have done well, but I don't think we would have had the same success if we would have taken Addie out of the game and not put on the court. She also can be very her worst enemy sometimes, but she grew a ton. I even get on her even when she's not playing for me, when she's playing for other teams. But I do still feel like the value that she produced our team and what she can produce and what she can do to bring this team together, she's definitely, I would say, our MVP from last year. So MVP goes to Addie Owen.
It's always funny to me, Cheryl was talking about a rebuilding season. Not very many coaches would call 29 wins in a season a rebuilding season. So volleyball definitely had a great season from that standpoint, and excited to see them this upcoming fall as well. Our next sport is boys soccer. So join me in welcoming Jeremy Matthias.
I guess I don't have an assistant here. Wasn't sure about Kurt. I looked out at the crowd and I saw a number of bald heads I thought could possibly be him, but I guess none of them were. All right. Just want to start by saying you guys are very fortunate that we are not doing this banquet right after soccer season, because I probably would have talked a whole lot longer. But after all this distance, I had to go back and look and be like, what did we do this soccer season again? And as I was looking, though, it got me really excited. Again, thinking about what a fun soccer season we had. We had a record of 14, 12, and 1, which was actually a pretty impressive record considering we had lost 8 seniors off of last year's team, and we were playing a really tough schedule, and so we had a lot of guys in new roles, and we actually spent about the first half of our year with a losing record, and we just kept saying, guys, just stick with it, I promise, we're going to hit our stride. And then about midway in the season, we started to hit our stride, we had a winning streak, and got to that winning record and never looked back. Some of our highlights on the season, some of my favorite games that we had a pretty good tournament at Hoopston where we beat Hersher and Oakwood Salt Fork. And then my 2 favorite wins were conference wins. We beat Judah Christian 7-0, and we had our first win ever against Cornerstone Christian. That was a fun game for a lot of reasons, but one of my favorite memories of that is just before the game I was trying to think of something motivational to do for the guys. And so I went and I made on a sheet of paper our record year by year, our score year by year against Cornerstone. And the first couple of years, Cornerstone beat us 7-0 the first 2 years. And then we got a little closer, it was like 5-0, and then it was like 3-0, and then it was like 2-1. We were just getting closer. And at the bottom, I just put blanks for our score. I was like, guys, this is what we've done against Cornerstone in the past, but today we get to do something about this bottom score here, this blank score. And I pinned it to our post in our dugout, and then we got to win and come back in, and Josh Gronsky, who had the game-winning goal, I said, Josh, go over there and put in the final score. And he went over and wrote in a big 2-1, and we got to cheer and celebrate. I think this was probably, no offense to previous teams that I've coached, probably the most fun season of soccer that I've had. I think this was the most connected that we were as a team. I think that has to do a lot with the leaders of the team, the older guys, the captains did a great job. We have 7th graders through 12th graders on our team, and they did a great job of treating everybody just one and the same. And it was a really just good atmosphere with our soccer team. So that said, one of my least favorite things about awards is I want to give awards to everybody. Even when I pick awards, I have such a hard time because multiple people are deserving. But also I was glad this year we had the opportunity to change some of the awards from the past. And so I'm not doing the same awards that we've done in the past. I've changed some of them. And my question I really asked myself was, what do I want to celebrate? When we get to the end of the season, what are the things that I want to commend from players on our team? And so a lot of these have to do with character. And so my first award, which I just called the Attitude Award, I'm going to just say who I'm giving it to so that they can come up and then we can embarrass them as I talk about them. My Attitude Award is going to Gray Yoder. So I want to say this. When I was in high school, one of the only awards I won for sport was called the Coach's Award. And I was pretty proud, and I went and sat back down, and one of my friends looked at me and said, you got the Nerd Award. And I hope you guys don't think that, Gray's like, I got the Attitude Award, which some people think like that means I'm not very good, but I try hard. That's not at all what I mean. What I really want to talk about is just, when you think about a kid that you love to coach, and what you want out of a player that you coach, Gray always brought great energy to practice. I don't think I ever saw Gray have a bad day. In games, he would always play as hard as he could until we would tell kids, go as hard as you can. When you need a sub, we'll sub you out. And Gray would go as hard as he could, get out of breath, and have to sub him out. But as soon as he would come out of the game, he would immediately become the biggest encourager on the sideline. I never heard him complain. I never heard him make excuses. Gray just had a wonderful attitude, and it was a joy to coach him. Gray also, surprisingly, took over the role of most shirtless guy on our team. That's not connected to this award, though. I just thought you guys should know that. All right, let's give it up one more time for Gray. All right, my next award is the Grit Award, and I'll explain that out just a little bit after I introduce the winner, but our Grit Award winner is Joe Theriault. So one of the things that we did at the beginning of the season is I had our captains set expectations for the year. And our expectations that they set were that we're going to play for God, we're going to play for each other, and we're going to work hard. And grit certainly encompasses that working hard aspect of it. But it's more than just working hard, it's like a personal determination. Joe puts in a lot of work, and he puts in a lot of unseen hours. Joe is always the kid that after everybody's leaving for practice, or leaving after practice, he's getting out all the balls and doing extra shots and extra practice. But it wasn't even just in practice, it was the way that he would conduct himself in games. He always held himself to a very high standard. And that's one thing I really appreciated about Joe, and so that's why I'm giving him the Grit Award. So let's give it up for Joe. All right, my next award is a usual award, but I thought it fit in with these. It's the Hustle Award, and for the second year in a row, I'm giving it to Hunter Helt. See what I mean? Look at him go. So again, a lot of times, Hustle Award, people hear that and they think, well, that just, again, means they're a try-hard. But I also want to point this out. Christian really made it a point of emphasis with our basketball team. He said, be a try-hard. Try-hard is actually like a compliment. It means that you put a lot of effort into something. But it's more than that. Everyone knows that Hunter's speed is a tremendous weapon. Hunter is incredibly fast, and he is all over the field when he plays. Sometimes, to his detriment, we actually have to tell, like, Hunter, slow down. You don't have to be 100 miles per hour all the time. But the thing I really appreciate about Hunter is not just that he goes really fast and really hard. If I didn't force Hunter to come out of games to take a break, he would play like that the entire game. He just has an endless motor. In fact, I want to tell you one quick story. For one practice, we couldn't get on the field because it had stormed and it was muddy, and so we did some stuff in the classroom and some film. And then at the end of it, I said, okay, now we're going to go out and we're going to run 5 laps around the whole campus because we still got a condition, which you guys loved, of course. And as they went out and started running, a couple laps in, Hunter's just like sprinting these laps. And I just called out to him. I said, Hunter, man, maybe you should pace yourself a little bit. And Hunter looked back at me and goes, I can do this all day. I said, all right, best of luck to you, man. He didn't. He slowed down. He still finished first, though. So, Hunter Helt for our Hustle Award. Let's give it up. next award is the Most Versatile Award, and our Most Versatile Award goes to Spencer Kemmel. So as Spencer comes up, I'm gonna be honest, so I talked about what I want to celebrate, but there was a part of it where I said, there's certain guys who just need to be recognized for what they bring to this team, and how do I recognize them? And for Spencer, there's a lot of things I could have said, a lot of types of awards I could have given him, but one of the things that just pops out is Spencer can do everything on the soccer field, including play goal, which he had to do in one game. And in that one game he played goal, the other team, which we tied the team, they were a really good team, the compliment that their coaches gave to me after the game was, man, you got a really good goalkeeper. And I said, he's not even normally our goalkeeper. He's just that kid you can do that with. You put him anywhere and he's good. So Spencer can play anywhere on the soccer field. He plays center back for us, which sometimes Spencer doesn't like that he can do anything on the field, and so I put him where I want him. But what I love is at any point in the game, Spencer can move anywhere if I need him to. So I think of like our game against Victory that we played in Ohio, and we were down late in the game and you just need more offense, and I just said, Spencer, just move up. And it's not even something we have to practice, it's not something I have to teach him. Spencer just goes and becomes part of the offense, and all of a sudden, like, we're on the attack and we're controlling the game. And the ability to do that, to just know anywhere I put Spencer, he can be successful and he can help our team, is such a benefit to have on your team. So Spencer Kemmel, Most Versatile. My next award is the Leadership Award, and my Leadership Award is going to Samuel Goff. So this was an easy one for me. I was thinking like, man, I just know Samuel was a good leader, and some of it's just you know it when you see it, and I couldn't quite put my finger on, like, well, what is it that made Samuel such a good leader? You know, there's the obvious things, like when we start practice, it's like, all right, go run your laps, and Samuel takes the lead and calls out the guys, all right, we're going, and you know, being one of the guys who always leads us in prayer after games, things like that are important. But what I really realized was, there used to be, there was a time when teams would take on the personality of their coaches, and I feel like we've really moved beyond that. Like nowadays, teams really take on the personality of one of their players, one of their leaders. And I think this team really more than anybody else took on the personality of Samuel. And that's one of the reasons why I think this was such an incredibly fun and enjoyable season. Samuel set a standard of hard work and toughness, but Samuel also just plays with a lot of joy and has a lot of fun. And I felt like he balances that so well and brought that to our team so well that he's a big part of our success, just being the person that he is and in a bold and strong way that other people latch on to. I also want to say it's a testament to how likable he is that he's getting an award at all after he nearly killed me with an errant kick in one of our earlier practices. Almost ended future generations of Matthias's. We're standing and pointing in opposite directions, giving instruction, and he kicked the ball at me. I love and hate you, Samuel. All right. Did we clap for him today? All right. And our last award, our MVP award, which is going to be no surprise to anyone, is Josh Skoronsky. Some of Josh's honors he got this year, he was IHSSCA All-State Selection. If you don't know, that's Illinois High School Soccer Coaches Association. And soccer coaches, we do a Skype meeting, and we talk over these, and we nominate players, and they select these people. So it's really cool to get selected because it's by coaches. He was second team All-Area News Gazette, which if you know anything about the News Gazette, you have to be amazing for them to put somebody from our school on one of the teams. He should have been first team, but he was also all-tournament at the NCSAA tournament in Ohio. Some of Josh's impressive stats that he is going to end his career with here. First off, he has 26 career assists. I know most people think of him as a goal scorer, but that's the second most in ACS boys history, behind Cole Gabriel's 44, in case you're wondering. 75 career goals, which is by far the most in our boys' history. This season alone, he had 37 goals, again a record. He had 8 assists, which was tied for first on our team. William Goff was the other one, in case you're wondering. He had 6 games this year with at least a hat trick. He had 9 in his career. And this is one of my favorite memories. Josh, do you remember what your first goal was? Josh's first goal was as an 8th grader at KTA. We won that game 2-1. Josh was the decisive goal, and I remember one of the refs running on our sideline ran down, and Josh was a tiny little thing. He said, "What grade is that kid in?" He said, "He's in 8th grade." He goes, "Man, that kid's gonna be a heck of a player." Well, fast forward to Josh's senior year. Josh goes to KTA and sets a school record, 5 goals in that game. We beat them 5-0, and I sat there and I thought, yeah, that kid became a heck of a player. A couple of my other favorite stats for Josh, as I was looking this up, Josh has had 59 teammates in his soccer career here at ACS. And this is just what an impact Josh is going to have on the ACS soccer program. From our first year in 2018, there won't be a team that doesn't feature a player who was teammates with Josh until 2030. So from 2018 to the graduating class of 2029, there will always be somebody on the team who was teammates with Josh Gronsky, which is pretty incredible. And the last thing I want to say is this. I've not been sentimental yet tonight. I talked last year about a lot of the struggles I had in the season last year. It was a rough year. We were off campus. I had a seizure and couldn't drive. Like, there was just a lot going on, and ended up being a good year. But I remember after that going like, man, it was exhausting. I don't know if I could do that again. I don't know if I'm going to coach again. And my one thought was, from the beginning of this soccer program, there's only been 2 consistents all the way through so far. It's been me and Josh. And I said, I can't let Josh finish this out without me. And I know, you young people, sometimes you don't know. I feel like Josh and I have a good relationship, but Josh probably doesn't know how much I think about and care about him. Because from the time he was a little 7th grader, and you're watching him, I've watched him be like the team little brother. We're up at Hammond, we're in a locker room between games, our classroom, and he's just annoying everybody. And then watch him get to about like 9th grade, and he stopped being that little annoying kid, and he started being like the kid who never talks, and I call him Eeyore. So all the way up here to his senior year, where he's a team leader, and a hard worker, and a star player. But this is just one thing I want you to know about Josh. Josh is he's a striker in soccer. He scores goals. And most people who score goals in soccer, they're kind of notoriously divas, right? They're very protective of, they want their goals. And one of my favorite things about the season is when we would get penalty kicks, which is usually like an easy opportunity to get goals. Most teams, their best scorer is going up there and they're like, I am taking this penalty kick. This is going to my goal total. And Josh didn't do that. We had somebody else on our team who was a good penalty kick taker, and Josh could make all the PKs, but he was like, Joe, you take the PKs. And Joe made PKs for us. So there's as Josh is setting records for goal scored, he could have had more. He could have been that selfish senior that says, no, I'm the senior, I'm the goal scorer, I'm going to do this. And that's just not the kind of teammate that Josh was. So I love coaching you, Josh. It's been a privilege, and we're going to miss you next year. So Josh Gronsky. All right, that's it for me.
All right, we're going to move on to first of our winter sports, and that is girls basketball. So join me in welcoming up Coach Nick Kaufman.
All right, I'm going to keep this short and awkward just like myself. Never gets old. First off, is saying thank you to my coaches, Todd, Eric, and Kelly way back there. I know how much time and money and time away from family it takes to do this. I just really want to say thank you to them. They do an awesome job with these girls. I know they love them. I know I love having them on the team. They're awesome. They're great coaches. They keep me in line, keep me in check. Yeah, they're a ton of fun. I would say thank you to Christian too. There's a lot of work that goes into this, into every season, into every sport. He just makes things so easy. He takes care of all the away games, all the travel, all that. He just makes it easy, so all we have to do is focus on coaching. Yeah, I just want to say thank you to all of them. Yeah, I'll get right into this because I hate talking. So, this year, we started off the season with 20 players. Last year, I wasn't even sure we'd have enough for a JV team. And this year we have 20. This is the most we've ever had in girls basketball. Super awesome. I remember the first day of practice, I was like, I don't even know if we'll have enough for JV again this year. And I get there and it's 20 girls, like really cool. Yeah, that was really exciting. We ended the year 29-4, 4 losses. Also one of I think it's the highest winning percentage team we've ever had in girls basketball. 4 losses, that's something special. Made it to the championship game of every tournament except NACA. We won 2 of them, we played 5 of them. We won the ACS tournament and we won the MCSE tournament. Yeah, we had a really special season this year. Apparently this word is on everyone's mind tonight. If I had to describe our team in one word, it was grit. Apparently everyone's taking my word. But there were multiple games this year where we came out, we were flat, we were down big going into the second half, and then we turn it on and we fight and we scrap. We end up winning games that we shouldn't have had even a chance in. We end up winning it. If there's one game to describe our whole season, it was the last game of the year. 2 minutes in, Addie Irwin rolls her ankle real bad. And if you know Addie, if she rolls her ankle, she'll fight through pain. But it was bad enough, like she was out, she was done. And we bring her to the bench, and she's crying. The girls are crying because they feel bad for Addie. I'm crying, so I feel bad for Addie. Everyone's crying. It was tough, and we keep fighting. We're down 12 going into the 4th quarter of the game. And we just keep chipping away, and Briley ends up hitting a big 3 going into the end regulation. We go into overtime, and we fight and scrap, and we end up pulling out a win to end the season. One of the most memorable and special games of the whole year. Like, I was crying after the game. I'm a big weenie though, so. Yeah, that's, us coaches talked about it after, that summed up our whole season. Like, our girls just never quit, and it was really cool to watch and be a part of. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm going to the awards. Starting off with most valuable reserve. This player, she was very versatile. She could play as a post, she could play as a guard. She's got thrown where we needed her all the time. She was also just a great teammate on the bench. She was a great teammate off the bench. She was just all around a really special player, really cool. That goes to Lillian Bieber. All right, next up is Hustle Award. This player, I'm pretty sure, has won it like probably 2 years in a row, I'm not sure. But if you've ever been to one of our games, you know that this player will hustle after a loose ball no matter who's in the way, whether it's a teammate or an opposing player. She will take them out every time because it's her ball. She pulls down a number of rebounds, she goes after it. And that goes to Libby Henry. Up next is Most Improved. This player, she really hit her stride and really improved during the ACS tournament. At our ACS tournament, we had the varsity team and the JV team play in it. And she was on the JV team, and it was rough for the JV. I mean, they just kind of got thrown in the fire. But during that tournament, we saw a ton of improvement from the JV. Just all of the players were really improving. But this player really shined where she got thrown into the point guard position and just really improved throughout. That goes to Aaliyah Stewart. Up next is Best Offensive Player. This player, just a good offensive player. I mean, she's really good. She has great handles, can shoot the ball. Multiple games where she came in and hit huge shots, and it's just a constant offensive threat that teams have to be aware of where she is. And that goes to Avery Hirschberger. Defensive player up next. That player, we played a lot of man this year, and she had to guard full court a lot. We had her guard the point guard up and down the court all the time, just to frustrate them, wear them out. And then all our zone defenses and our half-court man defense, she was always in the right position, communicating, talking, letting everyone know where she was. Exactly what a coach wants from a defensive player, and that goes to Sophie Mass. And the last award is MVP. This player is our best offensive player, our best defensive player, hustles. I mean, she has a lot of talent, a lot of skill, and puts her heart and soul in when she plays basketball. And that goes to Addie Irwin. And that's it for me. I'll let Christian take this now.
All right, moving on to boys basketball. Join me in welcoming Greg Mass and assistant coach Seth Digney.
All right, I missed the memo that apparently fall sports got that we're supposed to talk for extensive amounts of time. And Christian, next time you're gonna have to let me know. I did not realize we were supposed to prepare novels for each player, Jerry. But in an attempt to get out here quickly, we'll try to keep it short and sweet. It's not for a lack of care. Just want to get home before dawn. But I had to share one story because I can't be up here without Raz and Nick at least a little bit. I don't know if you noticed what just took place up here when Addie got her award and Nick panicked. She brought up something that happened before a championship game. Nick was given the pregame speech, and it was an intense moment. He was trying to motivate. It was a championship game. And girls were like giggling and like talking to one another, and Nick just gets madder and madder. He's like, what is the problem with these girls? He's like, they're not being, like, this is a championship game, do they not get it? And finally Nick confronts him. He's like, girls, what are you doing? And one of the girls goes, Nick, check your barn door. Nick's zipper was open the whole pregame speech. And I saw Addie ask him on the way by, hey Nick, check your barn door. He immediately went down. And so I had to share that he didn't. So like I said, I do want to keep it short and sweet. It was a lot of fun this season with the basketball guys. It's an honor always to coach. Thanks to parents for all you guys invest, the time, the energy, the money. It doesn't go unnoticed, and it holds us accountable to provide the best coaching, leadership, discipleship that we can for these kids. These men, I should say. Also wanted to thank the seniors. We had 2 on the basketball team this year. One of the things about them is, if you watch us play, it's evident that our junior players are some of the most talented on the team. But our seniors were strong leaders, kept us motivated for the right things, and honestly, 2 of the kindest young men that you will meet. There's only one caveat to that, because something came out in one of our players one time. I'd never seen it. He's a kind-hearted, gentle spirit. His name was Josiah, and then you played Judah, and Hulk came out. But he is a very kind-hearted person besides when we play Judah. So normally you like to share highlights of the season, and there were some good ones. We haven't won a conference outright since our first year in the conference, which was 2014. And so that was really cool. We won our first conference tournament title this year. So a lot of firsts, had a good record. All those things are important to note, but there's something that will stick out to me this year. And I brought it up multiple times to our players, but one of our favorite things to do is go to a tournament up north in suburban Chicago, and it's always highlights for our years. And this year was different because it was in the middle of a snowstorm. So the schedule kept changing and teams kept dropping, and we're like, we're going. Okay, we loaded up that van with salt and water and warm clothes in case something happened, but we're going. But we made it, and we get there to play our game, and they had changed our opponent because someone dropped, and we were playing a team that had lost one game all season. We were the returning champions. We played a team that had lost one game all season in the first round. So we were kind of upset. And then, it was just a weird day. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't play well. We still had a chance to win it at the end. And one of the gentlemen on our team took one of the worst shots in basketball history late in the game. And we'll get back to it. We'll get back to that. And so we lost. We lost by a couple points, and it was really disappointing. And the next day, there's two gyms at this tournament, and one is you just hate playing in it. And so the next day, we had to play all our games in this secondary gym in the losers bracket. And we had all these expectations. And we went back to the hotel that night. We had a little meeting, and they were disappointed. And one of the things that we talked about was, if we say we play for God, then it shouldn't matter what gym, who we're playing, how many people are there, if it's for a tournament championship or not. And we all kind of said, we're going to find out tomorrow who we're playing for. And we had to play 3 games in a day too, which was weird, and it was 3 of the best basketball games we played all season. And that had just stuck out to me so much about these guys. They did it multiple times, and it didn't matter who or where or when. They played hard, they played for God, and they played for each other. And I'm just really proud of that. I wanted to point that out. So without further ado, we're going to go into our awards. First up is Most Improved, and this young man, I know there was moments where he considered quitting. I know there was moments where he considered maybe trying to find another team. He was frustrated. He wasn't getting as much playing time as he wanted, but he persevered. And senior year, he's one of our starters, and I already mentioned a kind-hearted leader that really learned to care about the right things in the game of basketball, and really showed his never-ending give up. He's never going to give up, that attitude, and that goes to Josiah Rutledge. The next award is our Hustle Award. You don't always look at this player and think hustle. Part of it is just the way he plays the game. He doesn't need to hustle sometimes because he's always in the right spot. And but he's a guy that always ended up leading us in rebounds. He really became a defender that in the past all he could defend was a big. This year he could defend anyone on the court. And just continued to work on his game and improve, and really, you knew he was always going to give you everything he had, every game, every minute he was on the court. And this goes to Brock Helmuth. Most Valuable Reserve. This was a player that at the beginning of the year wasn't in the rotation as much, and I'll give it away, probably who it is, all the players will know. But he also was one of those players that effort was never an issue. Some of the times the problem was he went 1,000 miles per hour every second and moment of every game, and needed to slow down a little bit. And as the season went on, the game slowed down for him. He turned into the most consistent guy off the bench. Always hits a huge shot for us in some important games, and and improved throughout the year and turned into our most valuable reserve, and that's Kendrick Chubb. Best defensive player. This one is a little bit of a no-brainer for this team. Everybody knew it. We always acknowledged it. And that goes to James Lee. Just kidding. Just kidding. We always kind of razz James for being not very good on defense. Sorry, James. There is going to come a point where I'm going to say something positive about you tonight. Here it comes in a second. But this guy, especially if you saw those 3 games on day 2 at Dayspring, I don't know how many steals he had, but it was a lot. And just really set the tone for our defense all year. And this goes to Josh Skronsky. We have 2 awards left, the best offense and MVP, and we went back and forth on these 2 awards and these 2 players because there's an argument to be made for both. Both of them excelled on offense. Both of them got a lot better on defense as the year went along. But I did want to just say this one thing. I mentioned Dayspring. This gentleman was the one that took the really bad shot in that game we lost. And what it did for him was he really stepped into leadership at that moment. Something shifted. He changed his approach. He really turned into a good distributor, and just all around offensively he led us. Really all season, but especially from that point on. And some of the times when you have an embarrassing moment in basketball, if you're a selfish person, that lingers on. James was ready to move on the next morning. And really, throughout the rest of the season, just led us offensively. So best offensive player, James Lee. Last award, but not least, if you watched us play this year, some games it was like, I don't think this player, he didn't play bad, but he didn't really stand out tonight. And then you go to the stat sheet, and it was like 25 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals. And you're like, oh my word. He is the quietest dominant player that I have ever coached. And I think everybody on our team agrees. Team MVP this year goes to Kyson Flynn. All right, let's give it up for these guys one last time here.
All right, we're going to turn the page to spring sports. Real quick, I did want to say, as we went into spring, this is a new this year. We added softball. Went to 3 sports in the spring, and I just really appreciate all 3 of our head coaches and assistant coaches of our spring sports, just their willingness to work with each other on facilities, and just really showed each other and myself and the players a lot of grace, and so I appreciate all of them. But first up, we have girls soccer, and join me in welcoming Michael Roby.
All right, girls soccer just got back from really grueling weekend. We finished the season with 11 wins, 6 losses, 1 tie, but we finally brought home a championship. The girls played 4 really, really strong opponents up at MCSC. And really came together. We were very proud of them. But it had kind of started previous. We had a rough start to the season. Opponents were really hard, just a lot of injuries, just scheduling. We just weren't able to get the practices, the time we wanted, collectively as a team. And we really struggled through the first part of the season. But the girls, they kept strong. They kept trying really hard. They kept doing their other things. And then we had a really bad game against Monticello, which was one that we had noticed we don't play very good on artificial turf. So, of course, I'm like, well, we're going to add another game and go play on artificial turf to see what's going on. It was a disaster. It did not go how we kind of envisioned. Our coaching staffs, we were baffled. And at that point, my wife finally said, you're not being the head coach you need to be. You need to really look at, because these girls are doing everything that you're asking them to do. And she's like, you really need to remember the type of head coach you are. And so I got that reset, kind of blew things up a little with the formation. And most of the time, I'll tell the girls what our starting lineup's going to be. We were wanting to be in our 4-4-2, and we just decided we're going to blow this up against St. Thomas More and see what happens. We broke out into 3-back system, 5 mids, 2 strikers, and we went on a 7-game winning streak out of that formation, just being able to shift in. But it really came down to the girls trying hard. It came to the girls just being willing to accept that we were going to try something different and just rolling with it. So I'm really, really proud of you as a team, because that championship really showed the work you put in. So we get to highlight some individuals who had phenomenal seasons. First up, most valuable reserve, and I'll have them come up while I'm talking. Our most valuable reserve is Maddie Goff. Maddie was a player that really towards the end of last year, we started to see just some growth with her ability to read the game, play the game. This year, we were hoping, she's a freshman, we'll get to develop her through JV minutes, and it just didn't happen. We had to throw her right in to varsity from the get-go, and she really never looked back. Played all 4 positions along our back line really well, just really strong, fast, determined type of player. So please give it up for our most valuable reserve. Hessel Award. She's not here. It is Sayla Wheeler. She had converted from right midfielder to center defensive midfielder this year, and just was a natural in the role. Just her leadership, just her ability to cover for all areas of the field, get back. She played a ton of minutes and was really very deserving of that award. So once again, Sayla Wheeler. Most improved. This was another player who really used JV last season to start developing her game. She worked incredibly hard in all our off-season workouts and took on a key role, and I don't think she was quite expecting the amount of pressure that was going to be, and she really, really stepped up to that, really played a lot of heavy minutes, and was really impressive player for us. Our most improved, Kara Schultz. Our best player on offense. This was one of the awards. It was hard, but we've always had just kind of, we've known it's going to be who has the most points going in. When we had to submit awards, which was prior to the tournament, it was pretty close, but she ended on 24 points, had 9 goals, 6 assists, just an incredibly balanced player. Best player on offense, Malaya Brady. shock if you've seen her. Libby Henry. And we talk about the St. Thomas More game. She set a school record with 18 saves to really keep us in that game. And just, we knew she was going to be a phenomenal goalkeeper this year, but she even surprised us with just the growth, the development that she had with her timing. And she's always been aggressive. She's always been a leader, but she started to be able to react a lot quicker to what was going on. So great job. So best defensive player, Libby. Most valuable player, Phoenix Kemmel. Phoenix is just an incredible talent. She just has such great technical ability with the ball, just dribbling, passing, shooting. When we started her off at center back, but as we started going game by game, when we needed something done, if we needed that spark of offense, she was what we were building around. I can't speak enough of the talent. Just at times, I know as fans, as coaches, you just love watching her play because she is just such a great soccer player. So give it up again for her.
All right, our next sport is still currently going on, but it's baseball, and we'll join me in welcoming up first-year head coach, Austin Hellman.
Okay, as he said, it's my first year being head coach. Full transparency, when he asked me if I wanted to take over the job from Ryan, the one reason for it maybe being no is this moment right now. Heart is racing. We'll get through this. First, I want to thank a couple of people. Steve Miller and Ryan Henry. As a first-year guy coming into baseball, obviously I helped with junior high a little bit and stuff like that, but those two really helped me out at the beginning of the season, and if I ever needed anything, I just shot them a text or a message or anything, and they were always willing to help, so big thanks to those two. I also want to thank the parents and the fans. Baseball being a super slow sport in a nice cold time, a lot of these games are pretty brutal, so thanks a lot for coming out and supporting us. Probably one of my highlights of the season was going through, just the other day we played Marshall, and I don't remember if we played them last year or not, but I knew they were going to be a pretty good team coming in, and it was actually kind of funny. They were warming up, and I think Kurt looked at us and he's like, wow, they look exactly like us. And everything, just everything that they do, they just look like the same skill set. And we're like, all right, this is going to be a grind of a game. We get into it, we take the lead, they take the lead, it just goes back and forth. And finally, we actually end up tying it up. Justin Hostetler gets a hit in the bottom of the seventh to tie the ball game up. So we go to extra innings. And the ump comes over and he's like, hey, I can't see the ball anymore. We might have to call this game early. Me and the other coach are like, we're way too competitive. We don't want to call this thing off. And we're like, well, we'll just kind of see what happens. He's like, I just don't want kids to get hurt. Like, we understand that. We'll see what happens. So we play on. Both teams go 3 up, 3 down in the 8th inning. Then we get to the 9th inning. And Ian Hirschberger's pitching for us. And one guy gets on, he gets out of the inning, and then we come up and end up scoring the game-winning run in the bottom of the 9th inning, which was just really cool way to win and really cool way to go up against a really good team. we finished, well, not finished. We still have one more game tomorrow night and potential game next weekend. But right now our record sits at 11-9. It was a little bit of an up and down season. I think the guys could agree. Probably could have won a couple more games than what we have. And to be honest, we probably won a couple games that we probably shouldn't have. But we came out with word of the night. We came out with grit those games and played for an entire game. And actually played really well. Also, I forgot to thank my assistant coaches, Phil and Kurt. Kurt's not here, and then Chris Merritt, he's also not here. Could not have done it without him. We had started the year with 25 guys on the team, and coming up with a practice plan for 25 guys is something special. Especially when you're inside some of those practices, and it's a little crammed for 25 guys, but I'm just glad that these guys trusted me to do that and always came ready to go. So with that, we'll go with awards. Most Valuable Reserve. This guy, when I'm leading into these, you guys probably understand who it is before I even get to him, but as an 8th grader, he came in and closed out a lot of games for us. 6th, 7th innings, really, really did well. He kind of came in and rarely gave up any base runners, if even runs themselves. And that player is Ian Hirschberger. Next up is Most Improved. And with baseball, just being one of those sports where you can really find quite a few guys that have improved a lot throughout the season. Because baseball is just one of those games that you just really take slow and you can really build up and build your confidence and build your skill. But one guy specifically, he came in at a time where beginning of the season, wasn't sure. I wanted to try to get him quite a bit of playing time throughout the year because I knew he had a lot of skill, but just wasn't sure where to go with him. And beginning of the year, wasn't starting, and we actually had an injury on the team. And our defense was struggling a little bit. He actually came in and started at shortstop for us and kind of changed our defense around there really, really well, and actually was starting to get on base and hitting the ball really well too. So most improved is Wade Julius. Brandon, I almost gave away your most improved. I almost looked at the wrong list. So next up, best offensive player. With baseball, it's one of these things that you can really look at stats. I guess a lot of the other sports are kind of the same way, a little bit. But it's kind of one of those things. You got to look at. It's not always just, oh, this guy got the most hits. This guy did this. It's a lot of times it's who scored the most runs, who was able to get around the bases, who was always ready to just run and do whatever needed to be done on offense. And that best offensive player goes to James Lee. Up next is best defensive player. And to be honest with you, kind of going into the beginning of the season, if you would have saw this kid just taking drills, it would have been pretty obvious one. I don't think he recorded a single error until I think about 2 games ago, which being at shortstop is a really, really important position. And he really held it down well there. And that's Reagan Rodemaker. He's not here tonight. This next award, kind of in place of a hustle award, because to be honest, hustle is kind of doesn't really fit with baseball because, not that I'm going to call it a lazy sport, but it's not something you just go with. It's a very, very slow sport. And so there's just a lot of guys that would be considered for a Hustle Award. But Leadership Award, baseball is a lot about communication and really looking after a couple guys to really lead the team. And it's a big team of 25. And so when a team is really looking for that type of leadership, whoever's going to lead them through drills, lead them through practice, lead them through stretches, and come in, and if pitchers aren't feeling it, they're going to stop the game, call timeout, go over, settle them down, and get right back into it. And it just brings a great feel to the dugout, and everybody just kind of looks up to him. So that Leadership Award goes to Joe Theriol. And lastly, MVP. Partly why I've been assistant coach for many years before this, but there's so many guys that could get so many awards with baseball, and it's just tough to pick like one certain guy for each award, and they really all could get a lot of these awards. But one guy that led us in almost every single category offensively, came in and pitched really well, had, if you don't know what it is, ERA, earned run average. His ERA was 0.71 before 2 weeks ago. So in however many starts that were, he was pitching really well and played defense really well, just really well-rounded game. And the MVP is Cody Coons.
All right, let's give our baseball winners one more round of applause. Okay, we've made it to our last sport. Okay, one thing I want to say real quick before I hand it off. Starting a new program comes with a lot of challenges, and I've been really just so blessed to see the way the softball season has played out this spring. The girls have had a lot of success on the field, which I think has surprised some people. In a first-year program to be able to compete at the varsity level like they have, testament to them. But I also think it's such a testament to Brandon Beaver. I think he is uniquely gifted to start a program. I think our parents of softball players would probably agree. His coaching style, his just foundation of prioritizing faith within the program, as many of our coaches do, but just his understanding of how to motivate the girls, but also care for them. And so I've been really fortunate to have Brandon Beaver lead the program. Join me in welcoming him up here.
So I'm probably more nervous than you, Austin, because I didn't even know this was part of it. Since you did a good enough job, you want to come up here and finish this for me? No, like Christian said, there was a lot of firsts with the softball program. Anybody that's seen the softball girls from the beginning to the end would have to agree on the overall improvements. We started out hoping that we would reach 500 for our season. We finished 8-7. Could not have expected a better first year or season for the team. Wherever they played, we would have compliments on their level of play from opposing teams, fans, the umpires, other coaches. To obtain the numbers to be able to even start this year's program, like other teams have done in the past, we had to include the middle schoolers. So to compete against these other teams with seniors and juniors was huge. we only had 1 junior, 5 sophomores, 3 freshmen, 5 8th graders, and 4 7th graders, all playing a starting role on our varsity team. Being an athlete in this sport only goes so far. Knowing the game goes so much further. We started our season with a group of athletes. As the season progressed, we ended up with a group of athletic softball players. Their willingness to learn the game made them victorious several times over. As we spoke about before, the victories are only just a small, minuscule part of the game, right? So the victory only lasts so long. Tomorrow comes, it doesn't matter, the game's over. We were able and blessed to have Edward Taylor come and speak to us, and Taylor Edwards, sorry, come and speak to us, and it's not even Edward now. But she came and spoke to us, and one of the moments that I was able to ask her is how she turns the page. How do you focus on the next thing when you're stuck in a rut on something and you don't want to beat yourself up? And she said that she would find a focal point on the field. It could be a light pole. It could be something that she sees a semblance of a cross. And that would bring her back to knowing why she was truly there and what she was there to do. Well, we found and termed the term turtle. So a lot of our players would hear us yell out turtle. And that was from a rock that we found in the dugout high up on the wall. And somebody, I don't know who, thought it was a turtle. It might have been me that didn't have my glasses. And I said, how did that turtle get up there? And they're like, that's a rock. So anyway, we found that, and that was our term. That was our focal point to turn ourselves back to the glory of God. And we were playing several of the games, and I honestly would admit, I made the comment out loud. I'm like, why did we say turtle? And I was questioning, like, what happened in the game? What just happened that we needed to turn our focus back to God? And I just had to sit there and ponder on it. After the game was over, luckily Coach Steve was able to bring us back and say that even in the highs and in the lows of our game and our walk with God, and whatever trials are coming against us, we should say, eyes up, turtle, look to God, look to glory. And I had forgotten it just in that one step, that one moment. So thank you, Coach, for being able to bring that up. I'd like to also thank all the players, obviously, but their parents and the fans that came and was loyal. Special thanks to Amy Strong, who was able to video, I think, most of the games using Mackie's phone. I've got 2 wonderful assistants. Wouldn't be able to do it without them. I actually got my brother to be involved with it, and he's got no children or involvement with the organization or ACS up here at that point. So it was huge for him to take the time out of his busy schedule to come up and help out as much as he does. And of course, Steve, for all of his endless hours of driving the bus every away game that we had. So thank you, guys. Do you guys have anything to add that I've missed? I think Emily Yoder said she wanted to talk about something. Where's she at? Or no? Okay. We'll move on to our awards then. As everybody knows in life, age means nothing, no matter where you're at in your life, in the game or in the game of softball or in life. There's no barriers to what you can or cannot do. This individual stepped onto the field and worked in multiple positions. Gaining the trust of the coaches, she was moved on the field. This move was critical in allowing others to play a different role on defense. Her glove never stopped improving despite her age. The Golden Glove Award goes to Lily Hirschberger. Now, I have to admit, Steve took the time to set up Game Changer and Max Preps, but he did get all the information about the girls' grades from me, and I thought Lily was in 8th grade already. So she turns out she was in 7th grade. So my apologies when everybody sees you next year out on the ball field and they see you as a 2nd year 8th grader. They're going to think you failed. That's partially my fault. On another softball team that I coach, I have this player that no matter the battle at the plate, she seems to get on base. I've been quoted, and the stats to back it up, that if this player does not get on base, we will not score that inning. ACS softball has the same exact player with a team leading on-base percentage of .600, an overall batting average of .438, 14 hits, 7 singles, 6 doubles, and 1 home run. Queen of the bat goes to Avery Hirschberger. One of the funniest moments with Avery was when she was on 2nd base and I had 1 out on the board. I gave a fake bunt steal with Elsie at the plate. Avery froze on the steal, giving Elsie a strike. I could not give the same trick play again, so I let Elsie swing. Deep fly ball to center field. Avery tags up and is now at 3rd. Now I get started to explaining that this to Avery as she's now on 3rd base. I said, missing my steal sign cost us a run. You should have already been over here at 3rd when she hit the deep fly ball. That's what Elsie does. She's going to drive the ball deep. And I'm trying to go through this, and Avery's like, yeah, well, I thought that the shortstop was coming, and I didn't think I had it, and do you want me to steal home? I said, you know what, sure. And Avery did what Avery does. She baited the catcher, waited, and then ran on home to score. So I said, well, you redeemed yourself, Avery. In the game, hitters have a chance to achieve a cycle. That is, they get a single, a double, a triple, and a home run in one game. For this pitcher, it has been her longtime MO. I call it her pitching cycle. She has long been known to strike someone out, walk someone, and then have a hit batting. As the season progressed, she did achieve her pitching cycle in several games. With 41 innings pitched, 68 strikeouts, the pitcher of the year goes to Elsie Beaver. I can't remember which exact game we were at, but I remember calling for a rise ball. As a pitcher and catcher, you are the first to see and start to recognize the spin that comes out of the pitcher's hands. I'm on my bucket, watching the spin leave Elsie's hands, and it's at the height it was supposed to be released, and the ball was traveling perfectly. It starts to break upwards. It's going to hit a good 12, 18 inches of rise. In that moment of silence, I get excited and yell out, "Great pitch!" I didn't see exactly where it was going to be over the plate as it nailed the batter hard in her ribs. I didn't know how to follow that up. Elsie got her cycle. I just hope they didn't think I called for a pitch to hit the girl on purpose. You always start out a season with expectations. Expecting certain results from some individuals is a given. Other expectations build as the season progresses. This individual kept moving up on the coach's radar, moving higher in the lineup with her ball in play and earning a regular starting position with her quickness and understanding of the game. The 2024 season's most improved goes to Sophie Mast. We have this drill we call Crossfire. It's a drill that has 4 stations for the girls, 2 coaches hitting ground balls to 2 of the stations. As a player fields the ground ball, they throw the ball to one station, immediately run to the other station that they just threw it to. In the run, a coach is hitting a ground ball at the station the runner is going to cross in the front of. The runner is trying not to get hit. If the drill's not already complex on its own, it becomes even more complex when a player runs in the middle of the whole drill, looking like a chicken with its head cut off, bouncing all over the place, trying to figure out where to go. I won't mention any names, but just say that we have improved on this drill. The next award is for someone we felt never complained, gave their best effort 100% of the time. She is a fair, understanding player who cheers all the others on. A player who takes her role on the team, whether it's a starting role or not, and gives everything she can to do to achieve the end result. The Team Player of the Year goes to Sherry Miller. Sherry probably played the most positions out of all the girls. She was at shortstop, second base, center field, right field, and left field. Always giving her all, she never let us down at the plate. Her stick came alive in the middle of the season, hitting some hard hits, and then she led the team with the most sacrifice bunts. The crossfire drill is still probably one of my favorite moments with her, as I was always achieving to try to hit how many girls I could get. I got 3 in one practice, but I could never really get Sherry. Sherry out of the gate, as I tried to approach to hit the ball right at her, she stalled 1 split second, jumped and looked like Superman, literally off the ground like this, lands, barrel rolls, flips back up on her feet and takes off running again. I didn't know how to defend it, so good job. The player that was the glue to the team, the nurturer, the caring, the heartfelt giver, the one that would help spin the negative to the positive, the 2024 most valuable player goes to Lillian Beaver. Lillian has a gift to help see where someone was uncomfortable and could use a hand or a kind word to build them up. I would say this applies all the time, but I've been blessed to be able to coach Lillian on the field for a while now. We can speak in codes. I remember one game, I called her name and gave her a sign to call timeout and go talk to the pitcher, who happened to be her sister at the time. Lillian shook me off. The next pitch was worse. I called Lillian 2 more times. She repeatedly shook me off. We retired the inning, the next pitch. As Lillian was coming to the huddle, I said, Lillian, I was trying to, before I could even finish, Lillian said, I know exactly what you wanted in the last game I called, and the last time I had that happen in the game, I called timeout to go talk to Elsie in the pitcher's circle. She got mad at me and about bit my head off. I guess Lillian still knew what was needed in the game, and that was space for everybody. Good round of applause to the 2024 Club.
Okay, before we announce our last Student Athlete Award, we have what we consider a really great honor is our Conquering Rider Award. Before we get to that, something that we did last year that I really felt was important to continue is what we are calling the Distinguished Booster Award. For those of you who know, and hopefully many of you have been, we have a booster club here at ACS. And one of the things that we love to tell you all is that you are a member of that club, whether you think you are or not. Each of you as parents, your support makes this happen. I can do a little, as much as I can day to day as the AD, but in order to pull off a program like this with 7 varsity sports, junior high sports, youth league, I rely on you all, and know that I don't take that for granted. I need you, and so continue to be active. I would love to have you be more and more active on boosters, but this award is taking a moment to honor someone who has been so faithful as a booster member. And this year I wanted to honor 2 individuals. Honestly, I could give it to the entire family for the ways they have gone above and beyond to support ACS athletics. You would see them here at almost every single event, whether their kids were playing or not. And many times serving in the concession stand, whether they were on the list or not, and of course on the grill as well. So with this honor, we will be giving a family pass for all athletic events next year. You can stay seated. I won't make you come up here. But please join me in celebrating our Distinguished Booster Award winners, Kim and Marion Irwin. Go ahead and stand up for us if you're still in here. We really do appreciate you. Moving on, Conquering Rider Award. I mentioned this. We really base this out of a passage in Matthew 22, verse 37, which states, Jesus replied, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind." And these individuals, they represent the best in terms of academics, success on the playing field, leadership, and just a willingness to pursue Christ. And we have a female award winner and we have a male award winner. So our Conquering Ride female winner, join me in celebrating Libby Henry. And our male Conquering Rider Award winner, Joshua Skoronsky. Really proud of these leaders, and it's just really, as an athletic director, I hope the rest of our athletes see the positive things that they bring, they embody, and I hope that we have numerous athletes that strive for that, not for their own glory, but for the glory of God, and these athletes have done a great job of representing that. So once again, congratulations to Libby and Josh. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here, but I do want to remind you all that we have athletic, all registration for homeschool students is active. So make sure that you are registering for next year. Additionally, last summer we hosted a sports clinic for physicals here at ACS. My hope is to do so again. I don't have dates for that, but we will definitely get those out via email and on our Facebook pages once we have that confirmed. If you have not done so and didn't bring uniforms in tonight, you still have those. Please try and get those here to school by the end of the week so we can do inventory and get things set up for the summer. Athletes, before you leave tonight, check in with your head coaches. If you're a returning athlete, find out what they want from you this summer. Probably have some ideas in terms of workouts, maybe what the schedule will look like in terms of shootouts or camps. So check in with them. We will obviously update our calendar as we go. I'm not going to give you dates for things here tonight. It's easy to forget those. Sometimes things change. What I will do is encourage you, go to the website, check the athletic calendar. We will continue to update things there, and you can always check Facebook and reach out to your head coaches as well. With that, I do believe that brings us to the end of the evening. So join me in a word of prayer, and then you are free to hang out, or you can get going. So, Father God, thank you so much for who you are, God. Thank you for this evening. Thank you for people who are willing to make sacrifices for your glory, God, even when they're tough, even when they're uncomfortable, even when they're challenging. God, I just thank you for these athletes. I thank you for the coaches. I thank you for the parents. God, as we look to the summer, as we look to the future, God, I just pray that we would focus on you, be people of humility, always putting you first, God. Just pray for your blessing over this athletic program. We love you, and it's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. Thank you all.
Push him down. No. How you like push him down? He's like, no. Nice. Like this. Look. Like this. Push down. Push back. Push that down, right? Push both of them. Oh, no, you got it backwards like this. Yes. No. Carly, you learned on. There's one more in there, in the. Oh, okay. Help me scan. See a sticky spot. All right. Pick up the suit. How many guys are playing on that summer thing, bro? A lot of guys are not. Boss said something about 20. I mean, we're not. We're at summer. What is it? Who all is there? Any of the high school kids? All I know is for sure. You need to find out for sure if it's Tuesday or Thursday, because then we can schedule one around that.
I'm not sure when our first practice will be.
I think he coaches some other youth team here. I think he coaches even a younger team. Cause I feel like we played against Pastor Bob last year, like my boys.